Good morning and welcome everybody. You're watching CNN News 18. My name is Aisha Varma. We're a few minutes away from 9 a.m. right now, and we're going to be telling you about a very special report. Now, we have uncovered the Chinese loan app scam and exposed the Telegram financial fraud, and now we're blowing the lid off of an online job scam. Here is CNN News 18's Yash Goyal with this exclusive report.
CNN News 18 has exposed multiple modus operandi which swindlers have undertaken to empty your bank accounts. Earlier, we exposed how Chinese loan apps were used to dupe people, followed by how Telegram apps were used to dupe people in the pretext of investing in cryptocurrencies. Now, we are bringing you yet another modus operandi of swindlers which is entailed to empty your bank accounts.
Amid mass layoffs across the world, fraudsters have zeroed in on a new target: desperate and vulnerable job seekers. Their tools are fake job ads and harvesting tactics, and the goal is to obtain money and sensitive information from job seekers.
स्कैम जो ये हो रहे हैं, ये वेरियस काइंड्स ऑफ मोडस ऑपरेंडीज हैं जो साइबर स्पेस में करी जाती हैं, और कहीं ना कहीं ट्रांजैक्शन ऑफ मनी आता है. मतलब इट इज़ काइंड ऑफ अ फाइनेंशियल फ्रॉड. ये यहाँ पर वर्ल्ड में, यूरोप में, यूएस में, हर जगह पर ये चीज़ें होती हैं.
According to the police, the scam is broken down into 8 steps. Fake or duplicate websites are created in such a manner that they appear to be genuine and anyone can be easily deceived. The jobs are promoted on social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube with the promise of big pay packages. The fraudsters get millions of paid likes and ratings and reviews through digital marketing techniques so that victims are convinced. Artificial intelligence is also used to pop up before people on their screens with online jobs or work from home options. Interested parties are asked to establish contact. Once the victim is convinced, they are contacted by messaging apps like WhatsApp and Telegram. Then, users are assigned the task of selling or purchasing products and services for any company. Victims are asked to create a work ID on the website. An e-wallet is designed where the user can see various options like balance, task, order, withdrawal, selling and flagging off of products. Users get carried away when they see that the product or the service is sold out and the money reflects as balance in their wallet. But in reality, they have been conned by people who have complete control over the website and can make modification in users' accounts. When the victim tries to withdraw money, they are shown remaining tasks and asked to recharge their wallet with half the value of the item to be sold. In the end, the website disappears without a trace and the con is complete. We spoke to a victim who revealed that it wasn't just their money but also sensitive data that was phished.
He contacted me through WhatsApp and asking if you are interested to doing a part-time job so we can start the process. I replied like I'm interested. He shared one link and I opened that link and create my account with the username and ID password. And after that, one account has opened through the name of like Amazon kind of details has been given over that account which I have generated or which I have opened. So after that, he was saying that you have to register with few nominal charges. It was a scam. So when he was approaching me like you have to add more money to buy some order from the Amazon link. So I was adding the amount. I was adding the amount to recover my money, but it was a scam. Like I lost so many orders.
Okay,
yeah. So it was around 1 lakh, more than 1 lakh actually.
Delhi police apprehended a group of cyber criminals who were allegedly involved in these online job scams. According to the cops, the accused were operating in collusion with Chinese companies, but the syndicate mastermind operated from Dubai.
In this particular case also, where we received the complaint and registered in December the FIR, there also the server where the website was hosted is in China, and the mobile number were used for WhatsApp and Telegram, their IP address is also from China. So stating this that there is involvement from the people in China, I think this is true. It cannot be denied.
As per the Delhi police, nearly 11,000 people have been scammed across India. their money siphoned off using a shell company via offshore crypto exchanges.
The account that she transferred the money into, that particular account had a transaction of more than 5 crore rupees in one day, in single day, and the unique IDs in that particular account doing the transaction were more than 30,000. In a one day, 5 crore rupees transaction and more than 30,000 victims, I would say, is huge to be considered.
So how does one safeguard themselves from such scams? Make sure to only use verified apps and websites. Think twice before answering any suspicious phone call or replying to dubious emails. Always double check authenticity of a company and don't pay the price for the promise of a job. Remember, it could be too good to be true.
Ultimately, the thought process is very clear. They want to generate money from the Indian market. They want to target the hapless, innocent Indian user who wants to potentially see hope in these kinds of apps. And then this money gets to be used for a variety of purposes, including against the national interest and the national security of India.
While India is transforming digitally, there needs to be greater awareness among the public. Otherwise, they will easily fall prey to the growing web of cyber crimes. For CNN News 18, this is Yash Goyal.
Now we're crossing over to CNN News 18's Yash Goyal, who conducted that investigative report. Yash, I think the first things first, what exactly are the key takeaways that you would like to tell our viewers?
Well, Aisha, the very important thing to understand in all sorts of scams which are taking place right now is that all these scams have a similar modus operandi in which a person is contacted in such a manner that they're promised a certain amount, and in fact, and in exchange of that certain amount, that very victim is asked to pay a premium amount to actually get more and more money in terms of income, in terms of interest, and in many other ways. So when we started this entire series of investigation in these cyber crimes which are taking place, first the Chinese loan app, then the Telegram financial frauds, be it the crypto scam, be it other scams, and now these online job scams. One thing is very clear, that all these scams are happening from outside India and mainly from countries like China, Singapore and Hong Kong. And when we actually conducted this entire investigation, one thing is very clear, that people who have been targeted are not like, if we can say that people who are using mobile phones, people who are using internet, these are not just normal people. In fact, one of the victims in the very cases are very educated people. So the people who are being targeted are not just like common people who do not understand technology, but the people who understand technology are also being conned by these fraudsters. And in this very particular case, in fact, when we actually investigated this entire story, one thing is very clear, that all the money which is siphoned off, which is being taken away by the victims, is being used against we can say India. Because when we spoke to certain cyber experts in this case, the money which is actually taken away by these people, then in fact being used by these fraudsters against our own country. And in fact, a lot of cases were also unearthed by the cops where it was very clear that that money was actually laundered to other countries. And so these cases are very rampant right now, and in fact more and more cases are coming to the fore. The very important thing, and in fact it's become a part of our daily lives. In fact, we are using WhatsApp, we are using Instagram, we are using various messaging apps, and in fact people like you and me have also come across very messages that says like, yes, you can earn more income just sitting at home, be it 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, and generally people don't fall prey to that very messages. But when a person does, it's not just the money which is taken away by these people, it's your sensitive data which is also being siphoned off by these people. Because money is one thing which is being taken, and in fact which can be used single time, but the data which they take, which could be actually used to exploit you again and again. And in fact, not just you, in fact when this data is taken away by these people, you don't only have your information in your mobile phone, you have information, you have a long contact list, and those numbers are also they are also being taken away by these people. And in fact, then not only you, but people in your contact list can also be targeted by these fraudsters. So we have to understand this is a very sticky web which people find themselves into, and in fact one after another these scams keeps on happening on loops. And in fact when we spoke to the victim in this very case, that victim also maintained that yes, when this entire thing began, she was convinced that this thing was genuine because it was portrayed in such a manner that a person calls you and they talks to you in a very sophisticated manner. There is an exchange of mails between you and the scamster. So the entire process seems to be very true, and in fact, but once you proceed with this, very process, in the beginning you earn some amount, you can say 5,000, 10,000 rupees, and once the fraudster is convinced that yes, you are actually you are becoming a part of this trap, then they tell you to give more money to them so that you can upgrade to some sort of a premium account, and then you can earn more and more money. So this is very dangerous per to say, because you're not just using your money, you're using your data. And in fact, it's very important for us also to understand how to actually safeguard yourself from these sorts of scams, because yes, these scams are happening. In fact, earlier we used to see how crimes used to take place on the streets, and now these crimes have went online. And in fact, on online scams, it is also very hard for the authorities or the police to actually nab these people, because most of these people are not sitting inside India. They're operating from countries like China or from outside the geographical boundaries of India. People who are inside India and in fact who are working on the behest of these scamsters are just like small pawn in this entire game. So the need of the hour is to understand and to in fact be aware before clicking any sort of link or before talking to anyone who actually offers you something which seems to be very very good or very lucrative per to say. So the very important thing right now is to be aware of these sorts of scams, to double check whatever you are doing online, and in fact to also safeguard your children from these scams.
Absolutely. Yash, do stay with us. We're also going to be welcoming our guest on the broadcast, Mr. Jiten Jain, who is a cybersecurity expert. Mr. Jain, thank you so much for speaking to CNN News 18 and for joining us to tell us more about your opinion on this entire story. First things first, again, what do you think about this entire expose? Are you surprised?
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me here. These app-based scams have gone on for a decade. Initially, they targeted wealthy people or sensitive people for the purpose of espionage or purpose of high-value money stealing. Now, in last 3 years, entire landscape of threats have changed, especially during COVID and after COVID, because more and more people, who are using online shopping or mobile phones are the first-time users of internet and mobile phones in their lives. They have got much more comfortable and convenient, facing convenience by online shopping, online ordering things, online education. So there is a inbuilt trust and comfort that people are having on their mobile phones. And obviously, India has gone through a magnificent digital revolution in last 7 to 8 years, where I think almost everyone has a smartphone today. We have got a high-speed internet. Probably we have got one of the best high-speed and cheapest internet in the world. So there is an enabled infrastructure for these groups to carry out a scam. Now, the problem here is that the rapid pace at which India has seen digitalization of public services, infrastructure, and other things in last 7 to 8 years, probably have not been able to match the same pace for digital education and digital hygiene and digital safety, awareness. So what is happening now? You see these Chinese loan app scams, and during COVID, these people have realized that money is a huge vulnerability among people. Offering them easy money in terms of loan, offering them easy money in terms of mundane jobs like you like 5 videos and 10 YouTube videos, and you will get 20 rupees per like, and you can make 500 rupees per day sitting at home in drawing room by doing nothing. And then third is offering further kind of jobs in a foreign country, and that you can get 5 times your current salary and just give us an application fee or something. People fall for easy money. People fall for quick money, and that is the one lesson I think we have not been able to teach to our society, that there are no free lunches in life and there is no easy money. So what happens? You saw hundreds and thousands of people being conned by these Chinese loan app scams, instant loan app scams. Obnoxious rates of 250%, 30% were being charged initially. Initially, it was only a financial scam. Then it turned out to be bullying and harassment, where you don't pay those 250%, then your contacts are called, you are threatened. And within 6 to 7 months, turned out into a blackmail scam. That not only you have to pay this money, endless money, they will give you forceful loans, they will threaten your family, friends, they will even blackmail you with your personal data. They will do all sort of defamatory things by sending personal photos and videos to all sort of contacts, making all sort of allegations. Now, probably people have become more aware. RBI is clamping down on Chinese apps, so they have realized that they have to move into new scams. So, and that is where these job scams are coming in. And I know, several people who have been conned for amount of 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs, and how they've been conned that they were doing this mundane jobs, and they'll say that, okay, you start doing this job, deposit 1 lakh rupees, that, whatever the application fees, and do this job, and you'll get double the money. So they will get double. And then you deposit 2, you will get 4. Once you deposit 20, 25 lakhs and buy this premium account, as Yash was saying, and then the money disappears, and then they stop paying you, they steal your data, then again they start blackmailing you. Third, there is also a scam which is happening when you're searching a particular website or a particular information, and suddenly you will be tricked into installing a extension in your browser, and after that all your accounts will start getting hacked, and then you have to pay some sort of ransom to get your account back. So ransomware, application based scam, instant loan scam, they have become, a exploit of the day. And if you look at any cybercrime police station today, of, any state, 90% of the complaints which are coming in for cyber crimes are related to this financial frauds, loan app scams, OTP frauds, job app scams. So we are looking at, a humongous amount of threat society is facing. And mind you, these are the scams which are carried out at the scale of 50,000, 20,000, 1 lakh, 20 lakhs. These are not scams worth crores for an individual, but their overall size, if you see, that is sometimes more than 20,000 crores, 25,000 crores, especially in the case of loan app scams and all. And all these scams, I think, are possible today in India because we as a society could not walk onto that journey of the biometric based KYC.
Absolutely.
These people use Indian SIMs to send you fake messages, lure you, Telegram accounts, WhatsApp accounts. The problem is that you look at the root cause, that they are still able to get fake SIMs. We still get SIM cards by giving fake papers. If we have biometric KYC enabled today or Aadhaar-based KYC, I think this problem would have been partly solved. Now, same thing with the bank accounts. See, ultimately, for money laundering, you have to collect money first, and this money is collected in, bank accounts which are hired from poor farmers, poor people who have no money. They'll say that, okay, you give us your debit card, you give us your bank account details and checkbook, we will give you 10,000 rupees every month. The poor Chawala farmer doesn't even know what they'll do with the account. They just think that it is some scheme where they're getting 10,000 rupees for renting their account, like a bullock cart or renting a tractor. And then scams are carried out first into their accounts, then the money is laundered. And when the investigation takes place, many of the people who have been picked up are innocent people who do not even know what has happened. And by the time they realize, or investigators realize that they are wrong, they are victims and not the perpetrators. These perpetrators run away, they launder all the money to China and all those shady countries. So I think we are looking at a vicious cycle which can only be broken by two things. A, we should fix the broken KYC system in this country. We should have a biometric-based KYC both for mobile, SIMs and banks.
Okay.
Second, we have to have a massive digital awareness campaign in our society. I mean, beyond cyber security, we have to tell our society there are no free lunches. Nobody gives you anything free on internet, and there is no quick money. I mean, if we are able to impart these two education to the first-time users of internet, I think that will be a greater service to society.
Very important points, Mr. Jain. Do stay with us. I also want to cross back over to CNN News 18's Yash Goyal. Yash, what I wanted to ask you is the funds that scammers are getting from this entire scam that they're conducting, can they be tracked by authorities? All right, we'll try to reestablish that connection to learn more about that particular aspect. Mr. Jain, I want to come back to you for an important question as well. How can people protect themselves from something like this?
So I think one is obviously don't install any app, don't give money to anyone whom you don't know. I mean, don't click on any suspicious link, just do not open any credentials, and especially do not give your OTP to anyone under any circumstances. I mean, nobody asks you for OTP, especially banks. Now your question, I mean, what to do even if you, suppose you fall victim to a fraud, what to do? And your second question which you raised, that can this money be tracked, are two interrelated things. So see, earlier what was happened that, they will steal money from your Paytm wallet, they'll trick you to transfer some money. And by the time you realize the fraud has happened and you run to banks and police stations, the money is further transferred into a bank account, withdrawn, from these ATMs, because they have ATM cards also. The trail of money, the cash disappears. So what government has done today, in last 4 months, they have taken this initiative of launching a helpline called 1930 and a website cybercrime.gov.in.
1930.
So suppose of 1930.
Right.
So suppose a financial fraud has taken place. Suppose you fell for some scam and you transfer 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, or whatever is the amount to some bank account, So immediately you can call up 1930 and inform them, look, that I have fallen to a cyber fraud. And whatever basic information you have, and you can do the setting in your drawing room. You don't have to run, post and pillars to a police station and face harassment. Tell them that, but this is the account number or this mobile number linked wallet where my money went into and it was a fraud. Provide your number and basic details about a scam, and just in 3-4 minutes they complete your request. And what they do is they freeze the money for the time being, and they freeze those accounts where the money has gone based on your complaint, and they give you a 48 hours window to go and file a proper complaint with the bank and a proper FIR with the police to complete the paperwork. So initially, first you have to file a FIR, then the money trail, or money investigation will start. Now you are given an instant relief just to ensure that money trail doesn't go cold or the money doesn't get withdrawn from the banks and the crooks disappear. They freeze those fraudulent accounts or the accounts which have been used to carry out a fraudulent activity. Once those money is frozen, you have 48 hours. And in many of the cases, we are saying to a great extent, the money has now been, police is now able to recover the money because they're able to timely stop the further flow of money. They're able to freeze accounts. So that has, helped many people get back the money. But somehow, because of the, increasing number of cases, obviously that process is getting delayed. Sometimes it takes hours to get those accounts frozen. But still, it's a work in progress. And second, the problem is, it has not deterred the crooks. They have also realized that ultimately it may so happen that I might carry out 100 frauds and people might report in 2 cases, the money might get frozen. They will use other accounts because it is not their accounts. They anyways rent those accounts on every day or every week basis. So third probably step government could take is to figure out what a suspicious transaction is when it comes to a cash withdrawal. So maybe for you and me, if you withdraw 40,000 rupees, 50,000 rupees from an ATM, it is not a suspicious transaction. But imagine for a farmer who only deposits 2,500 rupees or 3,000 rupees every month and suddenly he's withdrawing 50,000. I think government has to realize that is a suspicious transaction. A mandatory, confirmation of the transaction or authentication has to take place. So what banks now do is that there is a universal classification of what is a high value transaction, what is a suspicious one. So they may say that if it is above 5 lakh rupees, it's a high value transaction, we'll give you a call.
Again,
so
very
what is high
important
value
points.
for
Mr.
me?
Jain, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt you for 1 second. I also want to go back to Yash to get us more information. Yash, the question that I wanted to ask you was, when we come to the funds that scammers are getting from this, again, can they be tracked by authorities?
Well, that's a tricky bit, Aisha, actually, because when we look at the money trail in these matters, most of the money which is siphoned off, they are actually, the money is siphoned off using cryptocurrencies in most of the cases. Since crypto is one such a decentralized asset, it becomes very tough for the authorities as well to track and to trace that very offloaded crypto which has been actually used by these people to in fact move around the money in fact in these cases. Earlier we used to see how hawala transactions were made when certain money was used, certain illegal amount of money, or in fact the money which was actually which was not actually paid on for money which there's no tax paid. That money earlier were used to move around from the hawala channels, but right now since cryptocurrencies are like a decentralized asset, so in these cases most of these transactions are being done via cryptocurrencies, and in fact once the money is taken by the victims in these cases, offshore crypto exchanges are used by the fraudsters to actually take money from India to outside the country. And in fact in this very case also which like we brought to our viewers here at CNN News 18, the police had actually maintained that the money which was actually siphoned off was by using offshore crypto exchanges.
Absolutely.
So it is very clear that the money which is being taken away by these people from victims to the by the fraudster, it becomes very tough for the authorities as well to track that money because crypto exchanges and cryptocurrencies are involved in these entire cases.
All right, Yash, thank you so much for joining us and for telling us more about that very comprehensive investigative report. And I'd also like to thank our guest, Mr. Jiten Jain, cybersecurity expert, for joining us on the broadcast as well. Now with this, we're heading into a